So I got asked, what did I think about the Michael Jackson movie getting pushed back? From April to October. Some people are trying to say it could be for the awards. Some saying the rescripts, rewrites. What do I think? I don't think they have it tight enough to put it out. I think it's going to be one of those things that it's going to be take some tweaking. It's gonna be one of those things that's gonna have mixed emotions regardless because you can't possibly tell Michael Jackson's story in 3 or 4 hours. Not really. I mean, his Jackson 5 era alone is worth an hour and a half to two. His career success and pinnacle, if you go by the peak primes, if we go from off the wall to the dangerous era where he could do no wrong and he was magical and his songs and his connections and the tours and the Michael Mania Thriller alone. I mean, but if you just do off the wall, that's 2 hours right there. So that's 4 hours. We go from the history and the 93 allegations or 3 allegations of everything that goes on to the history album and his fight with Sony and the Invincible era and how everything went the last 15. That's about an hour and a half to two. So I'm looking about 6, 7, 8 hours. Basically, the uncut, kind of like the Prince Netflix, you'd have to do for Michael Jackson. You can't possibly cram all that in no 3 hours. Not when you talk about the totality of his career on and off, if you were going to do the on and off. And of course, people are going to want to talk about how his skin, different things with that, even though it's been proven. He had vitiligo and he had other ailments and so on. But people are going to take shots with that. We don't even talk about the industry politics as a black man who was told that Off the Wall was too black and being seen as a young black pop artist and arguably the most important black artist in the civil rights movement, pre-civil rights movement, how what he saw growing up from coming from Gary, Indiana to living to Encino, California, when in the neighborhoods in Encino, California didn't even want black people in the neighborhood. They signed a petition back in 1970. That was only over 50 years ago. Make it make some sense. The industry racism, the award show politics, all that. Quincy Jones, the late great Quincy Jones. But they're trying to prove that his credibility, he was questioned. He's the only artist who's been successful, and as a black artist, being questioned about his input in said studio. Because to this day, we know Elvis Presley didn't write Hardly Did He Die, but no one ever holds Elvis accountable for that hardly. And their words against Sinatra not being a songwriter per se. Michael Jackson was a songwriter. He produced a range. He actually did stuff in the studio. No one ever holds the Beatles against with George Martin. The standards and situations. There are so many documentaries within documentaries when we talk about Michael Jackson, it's not even funny. But how his voice, his instrument was able to go through more styles than almost any artist you can mention. And I will stand on that. Because when you talk about artistry and versatility, I don't think you can find too many artists that can go from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, OOs, and make music relevant for all eras and connect like that, whether you like him or not. He was the most dominant artist of his lifetime, of my lifetime, and probably his, because he incorporated the past, the present, and the future like so few could. Not too many artists from that came out in the 60s and the 70s could do New Jack Swing like he was able to do with Teddy Riley. Work with Gamble and Huff for the Philadelphia sound in the 70s, or disco, or funk, or ballads or slow songs, or gospel related songs, and incorporate hip hop too. You know, have a spoken word intro with a rap with Vincent Price on Thriller, or to have African chants on Wanna Be Starting Something. You can go through so many chapters. Can you put all that into a movie? Can you talk about the creative process? But can you talk about the eccentricities, but also how he never had a normal life? How from head to toe he was emulated, but never duplicated, and the process of all that. So I don't know. It's going to be very telling what happens with the movie and how it comes to be when they get to the totality of it. But I would imagine it's going to have to take on some more. You have to add time to it. And I think that there has to be like, I don't know, there's no longer DVD or Blu-ray. You have to have like 3 discs. And you don't even know if you're going to get all that out when you consider the live performer of the man, the staging of the man, and also how he took care of his family. He brought the whole family on his shoulders. He was responsible in a real way. The publishing of the man, how the man understood as a business acumen to understand to buying the catalogs of the Beatles and the masters and the money that was involved. Because when you talk about all this depth and everything, that's those are like movies within movies. So you're not gonna get this in a simple. It's gonna be like one of them old Kevin Costner Godfather tape where you need about 4 hours or maybe five to properly, And so for what I've seen, Jafar Jackson, Jermaine's son, did his uncle justice as far as the movements and the dancing and the theatrics and so on. But can we get when we talk about the whole story of this man, you need time, a lot more. And then how you gonna condense that and edit and chop? There's just so many layers to a very compelling, complex creative force. So it'll be very interesting, how and when it does come out. But yeah, that's the latest I heard that they're pushing it back. And I hope, and I guess they're trying to maybe get an Oscar out of it. That was something that he always wanted in his career. Could you imagine that if his film generated that kind of buzz with the acting performances? Because there's going to be some very talented folks in the movie in portrayals. But I don't know if it's going to match what the TV movie did, because that TV movie American Dream was great. The late Willie Draper did a great job as Mike on that movie. You know, I don't know if you're going to be able to recapture it, because that was a two night project when that came out. And that was before it became fashionable to have a lot of biopics on people and stuff when you think about it at that time. So how will that, at that time, so it's a lot of where do you go, how do you go, and how you connect it all. So we shall see, what comes to be. But yeah, that's the latest. The Michael Jackson movies pushed back from April to probably October to fall. But there will be a lot of hype and a lot of buzz, you know. And with him, there will always be, how much did you get right, and were you balanced, were you fair? We shall see. But you tell me what you think. And what do you think is the appropriate amount of time for a Michael Jackson movie? How many hours? Because just be realistic. If you're a Michael Jackson fan, you know good and well they ain't gonna be able to tell that movie in no 3 hours. You already know. It takes longer than that. I already broke down the various reasons why his story is a lot more. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like. Hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. Peace out. I'm out.